Horizon Chance, who's your reaction? This is Did Korea Go Too Far? By channel Decoy Voice. Okay, I don't keep up with all the stupid TikTok streamer, influencer crap that goes out there. But then again, like, I'm smart enough guy. I like even those things that become so famous kind of like, you know, like slip through the cracks and like I know about it. So there's a guy basically who goes to different countries. I don't know if he came to India and doing that shit, which is like depending on which area you go to, it could be dangerous or not. But you know, like he just like make fun of things, try to just antagonize people. Do people realize that not every country is America? And outside of America, things are really different. Do people realize that? Now, Korea, I'm implying South Korea because he's not doing that shit in North Korea. We would not hear about him, right? I don't I'm guessing people got pissed off and like actually attacking him or something, which is like I have a lot of things to say about that. But let's just watch a video and I'll say it when it comes across, I guess.
After Johnny Somali and his two buddies were taken down by one Korean dude, a literal line of other Koreans formed, asking to fight him next.
Check your Instagram DM. Let's fight me. I will kill you.
If you're in a 20-mile radius to where I live, be prepared to see me.
Until a Korean Navy SEAL went out and actually found him in his hotel.
Hey.
야, 수말리. 어디가?
어디가 오시니? 어디가? 우리 어디가? Yo.
And now YouTuber Rotten Mango decided to cover the incident, but to explain the significance of this is on YouTube, she has nearly 4 million subscribers, with 1.8 million views on this video in the first week. And even though I've seen similar numbers recently, Rotten Mango, or Stephanie Sue, is in the top 100 on Apple Podcasts, and even ranked number 17 on Spotify with the second most watched true crime podcast. So even though me, Asmon Gold, and
It doesn't bode well for you when a true crime podcast person covers you. That's ominous, isn't it? Like, what's gonna happen to you, buddy? Okay, he's doing all this antagonizing shit to get a response out of people, just to get famous and views and clicks and whatever the fuck he's trying to do. But he's helping other people. People like, you know, that you know, like podcast girl, like a Decoy Voice here, which is insane. Like, how stupid are you, man? I don't know, man. Now, people are saying like, fight me. Like, did he say like, okay, I'm in Korea, fight me or something? Look, here's what I'm gonna say. If he like, okay, this is getting too much, he would go to authorities or something, or like embassy, US embassy or something, if he's from US or something, and things would die down, he would go back to US or something. It's not that hard. South Korea is not North Korea, right? I think even when people are pissed off and actually fighting him, he's still doing his shit. That's the problem, and it's like getting worse. Like, does he have mental issue? Like, I'm genuinely thinking this, right? In today's world, people have way too many mental issues. Mental issue is a spectrum. Where does he fall? Because you hear about stories of like people just like suddenly like going crazy and stabbing their own family member and like going to prison for life. That's a mental issue. Like, you can't, there's nothing else you can think about it. This is a version of that. You're getting punched in the face, you're still not changing. Come on.
Abba and Preach have received millions of views covering Johnny's descent into internet obscurity. We all kinda sit under the same umbrella online, sharing much of the same audience and repeated viewer. But Stephanie Sue in the Rotten Mango podcast introduces Johnny's crimes against Korea to millions of other more offline people, which is only going to apply further pressure to the Korean government to do something very uncharacteristic and absolutely throw the book at an American.
What do you mean offline people? Like people who basically doesn't care about social media but still watch his podcast. Is that what you want about? I mean, yeah, that is something.
Something like 16 years in prison is on the table. And although it seems silly that a podcast documentary can actually impact the outcome of a court case, just remember how R. Kelly's crimes were basically an open secret for several decades until Lifetime made a documentary about him, reminding the public to demand justice. as this even has NBC News reporting on Johnny's.
I mean, yeah, look, man, you're gonna have like, I don't know what law works which way in Korea, but if it's like US type with jury and everything, you can't get unbiased jury in today's world. Like, have you heard about this? Yeah, of course they've heard about this. Like, what are they gonna lie in front of, like, perjure themselves? No. So yeah, it's social media and like documentaries are gonna influence people, right? So you think like that's kind of fucked up, like who's guilty or not should not be based on like if people are angry or not. That's not how law should work. But everything has a gray area, and sometimes like, yeah, you need to be careful where you fall.
Somali, or Ramzi Khalid Ismail, with Dexerto stating he's facing up to 7 years in jail for sharing AI-generated content, putting his previous actions under a microscope, which now may actually lead to terror charges. I hope those $3 super chats were worth it, as he's been basically begging for international notoriety, and now he's put both himself and
Terror. Oh my! Does he understand? That's the thing. Is he does he have mentality? How stupid he is? Does he realize what terror charge even means? That is insanity. Is that even worth it, man? I don't get it. I don't get none of this.
South Korea's justice system in the spotlight. So if they want to avoid advertising themselves as spineless jellyfish to the international community, further inviting more unemployed behaviors to plague their streets, they're gonna need to lock up Johnny for a very long time, as those videos might actually be his final goodbye to the internet. That's why it's great we have the sponsor for today's video, Ray.
Hold up there. Is he American? And if he is American, can Koreans just like throw him in jail forever? Like, I don't know how that works. Wouldn't that be like, okay, send back to America and like deal that way? Can you lock up foreigners forever type of way? Because I'm pretty sure even North Koreans had to send that college student, whoever that was, back. They didn't send much of him back, but they had to send back. So I don't know how that works. But then again, South Korea and like America is obviously going to have a lot of treaties or something. So that law might work that way, like South Korea, America, doesn't matter. If somebody breaks some law in South Korea, might as well go to jail in South Korea if the countries are that close together.
With Black Friday inside.
Yeah, well, go to buyraycon.com/decoy voice and support this channel.
Now, the beginning of the end for him began when he was literally being hunted during his live streams. So he switched to live streaming inside what appeared to be an empty room, until internet sleuths caught a brief glimpse of a blurry pizza box that locals were quickly able to identify. And as he tried to antagonize the Koreans even further, they caught a reflection of the room off his cell phone.
This is that 4chan level shit. What was that like? I watched internet historian videos on 4chan long ago, where they were literally pinpointing which is what from like images and like signs and things. This is 4chan level of shit. They are doing that. So it's checking signs, pizza cover just to pinpoint where he is. How much people hate him, man? That is some next level thing.
Identifying a particular exit sign and an internet cafe monitor, as the chat filled with messages stating they knew where he was staying, as shortly after that Korean Navy SEAL found him in the street. But luckily for Johnny, the local authorities were nearby to rescue him.
My hat. 자, 이쪽으로 오세요. 거기 hat.
Arresting the Korean UDT SEAL that showed absolutely no remorse.
야, 굿나잇, 소말리. 굿나잇.
And to my understanding, that guy had his bail, luxury hotel, and upcoming legal fees crowdfunded, as he's basically seen as both a local and international hero.
A Navy SEAL could have done much more worse damage to him. I think they're trying to send a message to him and other people and still trying to hold back, because a Navy SEAL, like, it could have really fucked him up, right? So he needs to be careful, man. Go back to like America or something. Why are you antagonizing people? I don't get it.
Just as I predicted would happen years ago. So being afraid to live stream anything but audio, he's resorted to essentially hosting conference calls on X, as these could barely...
Hold up there. What is that? Is that North Korean flag? What is that? Where is he from? No, he's from Arizona, America. I mean...
gain a couple hundred listeners, which is a huge drop-off from his thousands of video views and the millions of people who would tune in to see him find out, which again was another one of my predictions, that he would slowly slip into internet obscurity, as he provides nothing of value other than internet fame and fortune for whoever can find him in the streets, or for insanely famous podcasters to make thousands if not tens of thousands of dollars off of. as I imagine she'll get at least 3 million views, showing a new side of the internet exactly why he's despised by everybody else.
And he starts stripping off his shirt. He's trying to dance all up on this female figure, rubbing baby oil onto her, and the Koreans are screaming at him in Korean.
And to make it worse, that statue is supposed to be of a kid, which may make his dance a much more serious crime. So at least to Johnny...
What are the people doing there when he's doing that? If I see somebody doing that, like, I would act, man. I'm not gonna lie. This, like, if I see somebody doing that, like, fuck out of it, I would actually push him out. Like, fuck you doing? I guess South Koreans are really tolerant in that way. I don't know. Oh, this is just too bad, man. This is just all insanity.
Johnny Somali. Worst case is he streams that garbage to a couple thousand people on the shadiest streaming site online and nobody notices. And best case, I guess, is he's featured on the #2 crime podcast in the world. Then the mainstream news media picks it up, and now you're going viral for making a video doing very suggestive things to a statue of a kid that was specifically made to commemorate how foreigners committed crimes against kids. So he thought he was being funny to idiots online when he was really reopening one of the most sensitive issues in South Korean history and now making it about him. And speaking of sensitive political issues, after he was streaming alongside some girl, recording himself vandalizing another guy's home, Johnny later displayed to his livestream AI-generated videos of him hooking up with a female streamer, which violates a brand new bill specifically made to charge people with those videos up to 7 years in jail. So some
I mean, you don't need that bill, really. You can argue in court like how that's like defamation and like there's many other layers to it, even if it's AI generated, even if it's like not real and like computer generated, let's just say, you don't even have to go all the way AI, right? Because that is like, you know, it's like you can't just take somebody's image, whether real or not, and like show it that way. I'm pretty sure it breaks a lot of laws anyway.
Korean politician is about to boost their entire career off this incident, as there was never a worse time to be this ignorant to local laws. And I don't think Johnny's intentionally speedrunning going to prison, but if he was, I don't think he would do anything different. As Dexerto previously reported, he was facing 10 years in jail, which started from his first charge of causing a commotion in a convenience store that in comparison was one of his more milder offenses that he recorded himself committing.
Well, hold up, that can South Korea ban him from leaving South Korea if he's not South Korean? He's just there on like a travel visa. I'm pretty sure he can just go to like US embassy and from there he's on US soil and negotiation. But that's the thing, like do Americans even care about this? Like if US embassy and like official, if they don't give a crap about, this is the problem. You don't piss off people. We live in society. We are social being. Right? If somebody is antisocial by mental issues or whatever, that's sad. But in the end of the day, you can't be like antisocial in a society. That's not how it works. Like some way, somehow you need to be social. You need to have people that back you. You need to have people that see you in some kind of positive light. Because in the end of the day, like, if nobody cares about you, laws are kind of like in a spectrum, like any law. No laws are completely hard-coded. It's either this or that. And there's a reason behind this. People who make up law cannot just like think of all scenarios and like variation of the scenarios. So all those are kind of like loose in that way. And if everybody hates you, they can kind of fit you in any category they feel like that, you know, like terrorist type of charge, right? Like they can argue like whatever he's doing like is like bordering terrorism level and everybody could agree and everybody hates him. Nobody would really like back him or like defend him in that way. He's basically screwed at that point, right? This is the problem, right? You don't want to piss everyone off. Like this is like one of the basic thing people learn in like kindergarten. People learn in school. This is the problem in today's world. It's like parents have failed their children. That's the only thing I can think of when I analyze the mass spectrum of everyone in today's like current generation. Like people are like have like this one-dimensional thinking without actually giving it more thought, right? People think, you know, like even the outrages and everything, the shit like this, like nobody taught him like you don't do this shit, right? It's just like could you imagine somebody being this stupid 20 years ago, right? No, because they would have had like, you know, some kind of like they would get kicked everywhere basically. right? They wouldn't get beaten up. People learn like that. In today's world, like, everybody's coddled so much. Like, you're not really protecting, like, people that way, right? I see, like, even parents basically, like, small children throwing a tantrum, punching their parents, and they're not doing anything. Shit like this happens after that.
You Chinese.
But just like in Japan, he'd been bothering their citizens for a while, until the authorities arrested him over something simple as trespassing into a construction site. Now, the Japanese made the mistake of letting him off easy, believing his lies and just deporting him. And the citizens are already seeing the effects of a lot.
Japanese like, I don't need this shit. Throw him out. I think that is the most sensible thing you can do, right? You can just like deport somebody back to their country and just ban them permanently. That's it.
Allowing foreigners to completely disregard your culture, which is why I think Korea has to absolutely throw the book at him, as not only did the entire world see some idiot twerk and pour baby oil over a statue of a little girl, but also violate a brand new law specifically made in response to public outrage over deepfakes. This case is becoming so high profile that if they don't imprison him for at least half a decade, they're basically broadcasting not only to Koreans, but the entire world that their laws actually don't mean anything. And other streamers know this, as legal
Yeah, but again, like I said, if people actually hate you, they can do a lot of these things. That's why a lot of like sentences like 6 months to 10 years is like a range is big, depending on how judge and like jury feels that day. But in the broad spectrum of things, if South Koreans throw him like 20 to life or whatever, wouldn't that send a message? Like, in the end of the day, he just like, it was a statue in the end of the day. Right? So vandalism at best, misdemeanor, whatever that is. The AI video thing is like kind of a big, right? So you can like use that to charge him. But like if you give him like 20 to life type of thing, that would be extreme. And people will be like, I get it, he's an a-hole. But like, isn't this extreme? Like, aren't you being too bitter type of way? Especially he's not even South Korean. So I guess throw him back to USA or something. Or like throw him in jail for a certain time, like a year or two, and then throw him back to like USA, because in the end of the day he didn't like hurt somebody directly like that, right? That AI video thing is big. I don't know how like how touchy that is. Like, what was the context of that video? Like how bad that AI video is. I don't know. Maybe if that is too strong, they could jail him for 5-10 years or something. I guess that is a big thing. But like vandalism and things, like, I don't know, man.
Mindset is begging people to come forward.
For example, the people that he sexually harassed, you need to go file a complaint. Right now, the system looks at how many charges are there. If this guy gets...
Exactly. That's how law works. You can just throw him, like, if people actually come out and like file charges, like, you did this, you defamed me this, like you put video of me this, and that piles up, that's a proper criminal charges. If you have multiple people of society, you're not fit to stay in society, then you can have like a big ass charge.
10, 20 charges against him, he's screwed.
As the convenience store wasn't the only place he bothered workers. He also bothered other streamers. He bothered random buskers. He and his stupid Korean friend bothered random girls in the streets.
Hey, girl, you want me on stream? My friend stream.
Even following them into stores.
Why did you ran back in the store? Bro.
Whoa.
I'm about to crash out.
Whoa!
I'm about to crash out. This your friend right here?
What
And
the hell?
shouting
You
at
don't do
old
that.
ladies just begging for change.
Get lost. Get the on. Come on.
As much as I think Johnny and Johnny Jr. are losers, I think that...
Oh my god. That pisses, like, even my blood is boiling just watching this 10-minute video. This is pissing me off. Like, what an a-hole, man. This is just like, I don't know what to say, man. Even I'm getting pissed off watching all this shit. See, in today's generation, like, people got that element. Any kind of reaction is good reaction. That WWE thing, right? Like, if people hate you, like you, doesn't matter as far as you get reaction. And people took that literally. People like this, morons, basically. No, that's not how it works, man. I hope this works as an example to the today's generation. Like, any response is good response is BS. Just because one out of like a 10,000 who attempted this became famous doesn't mean other people have to do that, right? Or should try and do that. You're gonna be screwed, right? I don't know. It's like, hearing like some guy who like jumped from the building and survived. Yeah, other 1,000 people didn't. You shouldn't try that shit, right? There was a video from Fat where somebody like a paratrooper jumped from like a plane and somehow survived because his parachute didn't open. Yeah, that's not gonna happen to everyone. You shouldn't get like try to be an a-hole and just like try to get reaction just so you can get more thumbs up and clicks or thumbs down even, right? This is I don't process this, right? I'm glad I'm not counted, like I guess I'm a millennial. I'm not counted as this generation because this is just fucked up. It's embarrassing.
A Korean dude that follows them around for secondhand clout is the most pathetic person I've seen on the
clout. That's the word, right? Clout. That is the most. This is why internet age is gonna go down really fast. People are like, oh, internet is so important, but I don't care. Social media ruined everything.
So I feel no sympathy for him, as he may have legal issues of his own, and he's pretty much earned it. Hanging out with a guy that literally despises his entire existence.
I like to make content that makes people violent. I hate Asians. I think all Asians need to be exterminated. Somebody please put this on the news tomorrow.
Which this too turns out to be a...
Okay, who's gonna exterminate them? Let's just say us Asians. People, all these morons think there is like a central power who dictates things, is the judge at this global scape. Are you gonna do it? Who are you talking to? Is there a central power who decides what happens where in the global scale? Right? People are this like, oh, this is not fair. It's like, who are you talking to? Who's gonna do that to Asian or whatever, like us, right? I'm Indian, I'm Asian, why not? You gonna do it, right? You basically slender man, right? My one arm is more thicker than both of your arms. What the fuck you gonna do? You're antagonizing people. You're gonna get killed. What the fuck is your problem, man?
A crime in Korea, punishable by up to 7 years in jail. On top of the time he went into their subway system, broadcasting that he has a device.
나에겐 폭탄이 있다. 나에겐 폭탄이 있다.
Which again violates local laws that could get him an additional 2 years in prison. So Dexerto said 10 years in prison. My math here adds up to 16, with some people even saying 29 years. But I guess the sentence length is irrelevant when Korea had an over 99% conviction rate. Now I understand long prison sentences isn't as common in Korea, but the justice system is more of a deterrence for future offenders than rehabilitating previous offenders. So this particular scenario has zero drawbacks when you can imprison someone for several years, then immediately deport him back to his home country. And although incarceration is incredibly expensive, it just might be worth the worldwide headlines of "Do not f*** with Korea. We got military-age men that'll beat you up everywhere. We got high-speed internet to live stream your beating from every angle. Then we let you rot in a box over laws you never knew."
Come on, you don't have to sell South Korea. South Korea is like as Western as it get, even though it's not Western, it's Western as it can get. Because of like US relations for years, right? South Korea is South Korea. Who hasn't seen Seoul, right? Seoul, how you say it? I don't know. So it's basically like first world country, right? Like they have everything. But yeah, this is, I guess if you like ship him back to US can't really prosecute him because he didn't break any US law, so they have to prosecute in Korea. It's very touchy. But yeah, this is just fucked up, man. Like, I think, like they should go with it. Like they just like, see how many laws he break, how many people come forward and like jail him like that. I don't care, right? Because as soon as you go somewhere else, you need to know of their laws. And more than that, like he's from Arizona. How did nobody shoot his ass, right? He must have done all this shit in America, right? In all the red state and things, right? Nobody shot his ass like this. America, like somebody like this shit is like proper, right? Doing all this crap, really. Somebody would beat the shit out of him by now. This makes me think like maybe this is all exaggerated, right? People don't shoot people left and right in America, apparently. Because if someone like this can survive, there you go.
Existed. And that message is priceless. So if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the track.
Alright, well, there you go. Did Korea go too far? Nah, look, man, if he comes to India and do all this shit, depending on the place, which is like 80% of places, nobody would do anything probably. Like, you'd surprise like how chill Indians can be, right? You get all this like extreme news, like this happened in India, that happened in India, but you need to realize like very specific places of this country where shit happens. Otherwise, in major cities and things like that, Bangalore, Mumbai, people basically will laugh, walk away, probably authorities will come and shit like that, like. But in like very specific place in specific states, really bad, if he goes there and do this shit, yeah, he might disappear, let's just say. So I think he probably knows that and didn't come to India doing all this shit. But yeah. Right, well, that was did Korea go too far by channel Decoy Voice? Not really. Like, why you're not gonna stop people? You're not gonna use your laws and things. It's a lawful place. It's a society. Come on. Right. I'll see you next time.